Welcome to the DCTV News at Noon program. I'm Kelsey Kiesling.
And I'm Kendra Cook. The Dolores County Broadcasting Network is the producer of DCTV with support from the Southwest TV Translator Association.
If you have a news topic or event you'd like to see covered, give us a call. The studio number is 677-4119.
Today's show runs Monday at noon, 3 and 6 p.m. and again is re-aired later throughout the weekend with the other weekday broadcast replays. Today is April 16th, 2018, and now the news at noon.
According to the Cortez Journal, with a photo by Jerry McBride with the Durango Herald, forecasts indicate Colorado could be in for its worst wildfire year since the historic fire seasons of 2012 and 2013, leading Governor John Hickenlooper and fire officials to warn residents on Friday to do their part to help prevent fires. An abnormally dry winter left the statewide snowpack 68% of average, with conditions in the northern mountains better than in the south. As of Thursday, the Animas, Dolores, San Juan, and San Miguel basins were at 36% of normal historic averages, the lowest in the state. The fire outlook was released as a storm brought snow to the mountains and plains, but Hickenlooper warned people should not think small bursts of moisture would ease the danger. He urged people to follow fire restrictions, a message echoed by Mike Morgan, director of the Division of Fire Prevention and Control. Dry, windy weather is blamed for several grass fires this spring, including one that forced the evacuation of the small town of Boone Thursday. Last month, a fire ignited by an Army training exercise using live ammunition on Fort Carson spread to private land, destroying 2 homes in early April. A wildfire near Grand Junction destroyed at least 1 home. The winter was dry over much of southern Colorado, and by Thursday, the U.S. Drought Monitor classified conditions as a severe or extreme drought. Those are the 3rd and 4th worst categories in the 5-step scale used by the Drought Monitor, which is operated by federal weather and agriculture agencies. The conditions were caused in part by the second consecutive La Niña year, said Klaus Wolter, a climate scientist with the Cooperative Institute for Research in Environmental Sciences in Boulder. La Niña is a phenomenon caused by a cooling of the Central Pacific, changing weather worldwide. Worse, a warm winter caused snow at the lower mountain elevations to melt early, which could worsen the danger because that's where most wildfires occur, he said. Wolter said conditions could improve before the hotter summer months.
From the Journal, photo Emily Rice. A red flag warning now is in effect for southwest Colorado from noon to 10 p.m. today, Monday, as strong winds coupled with extremely dry conditions that Kelsey just reported on pose critical fire danger for the region. The resolution for the ban was enacted in early April at the request of Montezuma County Sheriff Steve Nowlin and local fire chiefs. Beginning April 16th, no open fires or use of fireworks will be allowed in unincorporated Montezuma County. A series of recent brush fires triggered the ban, officials said. The fire ban was enacted just 2 days after a brush fire quickly spread near U.S. Highway 160 and County Road A on April 7th and forced the evacuation of a family that lives north of the Ute Mountain Casino in Toyac. The Cortez Fire Protection District was called to the scene about 4 p.m. The Ute Mountain Ute and Lewis Areola fire departments also responded. U.S. Highway 160 was closed for about 2 hours. Similar weather conditions will exist today on Monday. The National Weather Service in Grand Junction says strong southwest winds are expected across much of western Colorado and eastern Utah starting Monday afternoon and lasting until the evening. A combination of low relative humidity, strong wind gusts, and dry fuels will result in critical fire weather conditions across Colorado, the Weather Service said. Winds during this time are expected to be around 15 to 25 miles an hour, with gusts up to 40 miles an hour. Monday has a high temperature near 66 degrees. Relative humidity is expected to hover around 6 to 11%. And so as a result, the NWS said new fires may be difficult or impossible to control due to fast rates of spread. Outdoor burning is strongly discouraged. These strong winds are ahead of a cold front that's set to move into the region Tuesday, which will cause temperatures to drop. On Tuesday, there's an expected high of 50 degrees with breezy conditions picking up in the afternoon. Wind gusts could get as high as 35 miles an hour, the Weather Service said. I think there's going to be some updates later on. We'll share more of what's in the forecast later in the broadcast, but this report is saying that the rest of the week is expected to be sunny and mostly clear, with daytime highs ranging between 55 and 65. However, No precipitation is in the forecast in Montezuma County for the rest of this week. In higher elevations around the San Juan Mountains, however, there is a slight chance for some snow Tuesday afternoon and again Thursday night into Friday. Dolores County also remains in the red flag warning through tonight.
Reported by the Durango Herald with a photo by Jerry McBride with the Durango Herald. Mark Redwine, a Vallecito man accused of killing his son, made a brief court appearance Friday morning for a status conference. He is suspected of killing his 13-year-old son, Dylan Redwine, in November 2012. A grand jury issued an indictment in 2017 accusing him of second-degree murder and child abuse resulting in death. He faces 16 to 48 years in prison if convicted on either count. Redwine, age 56, wore an orange jail-issued jumpsuit at his first appearance in court in 120 days. He sat next to his public defenders, Justin Bogan and John Moran, and did not speak. Dylan's mother, Elaine Hall, and Dylan's older brother, Corey Redwine, sat behind the prosecutor on the left side of the courtroom gallery. Redwine's defense team asked the court for more time to examine police reports and other documents in the case. Sixth Judicial District Attorney Christian Champagne argued for the case to move forward. Judge Jeffrey Wilson sided with prosecutors and scheduled Redwine for an arraignment on June 29th. Redwine is expected to enter a plea at the hearing.
From the Durango Herald, Photo AP, President Donald Trump has promised to support legislation protecting the marijuana industry in states that have legalized the drug, a move that could lift a threat to the industry made by the U.S. Attorney General just 3 months ago. Republican Senator Cory Gardner of Colorado said on Friday that Trump made the pledge to him in a conversation last Wednesday night. It marked the latest flip by the president, who pledged while he was campaigning to respect states that legalize marijuana but also criticized legalization and implied it should be stopped. Gardner has been pushing to reverse a decision made by Attorney General Jeff Sessions in January that removed prohibitions that kept federal prosecutors from pursuing cases against people who were following pot laws in states such as Colorado that have legalized the drug. Marijuana has been fully legalized in 8 states, and 24 states allow some form of marijuana use. Gardner said in a statement, "President Trump has assured me that he will support a federalism-based legislative solution to fix this states' right issue once and for all." White House spokeswoman Sarah Huckabee Sanders said Gardner's account was accurate and the president supported states' rights in the matter. Gardner hopes to introduce bipartisan legislation keeping the federal government from interfering in state marijuana markets. Gardner and the Department of Justice have been in discussions for months to get the holds lifted. Gardner has met with Sessions and Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein. Legislation to protect states where marijuana is legal is still being drafted. It may be modeled on a 2014 budget amendment that prevented the Department of Justice from spending money to enforce federal laws against marijuana users and businesses in states that legalized the drug and were following all applicable state laws. Gardner's office is hopeful of getting enough bipartisan support for the bill to pass the GOP-controlled Congress, something the president's backing would aid.
Reported by the Durango Herald with a photo courtesy of Kit Carson Electric Cooperative. In contrast, northern New Mexico's co-op, Kit Carson Electric Cooperative, bought out of its tri-state contract in 2016, giving it the freedom to build solar arrays across its 3-county area to serve its 29,000 electric members. Kit Carson had 24 more years left on its contract with Tri-State when its exit was finalized. The co-op was interested in the low, stable prices that clean energy generation offers, said Bob Bresnahan, a Kit Carson Electric Cooperative board member. The co-op's decision attracted national attention, and Kit Carson was recently accepted into a collaborative research effort focused on solar energy organized by the National Renewable Energy Laboratory. The co-op will focus on developing a model for other rural cooperative utilities interested in developing solar energy as part of the collaborative. Kit Carson plans to generate enough solar energy to power its grid during the day by 2022. This will require 35 1-megawatt arrays that will provide between 34 to 44% of the co-op's total energy consumption, Reyes said. And now let's take a look at the weather.
The National Weather Map shows the Northeast with lingering ice, some coastal flooding, and beach erosion with soaking rains and gusty winds moving through after the weekend storms. And more snow is in the forecast for the Great Lakes region into Tuesday. A storm is expected to sweep from the west coast to the Rockies into Tuesday, rains and snows into the Intermountain West, with the gusty winds becoming problematic for travelers. So as the Pacific Northwest sees unsettled rain and snow mix, with a cold front pushing south, the extreme winds and dry conditions are the prediction for the Southwest. Regionally, that means for us it's red flag warnings in effect. As we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, many of the valleys of west central and southwest Colorado see these warnings this afternoon through the evening for both fire hazard and winds. This hazardous weather outlook reports critical fire weather conditions are expected this afternoon and evening ahead of a strong cold front that will be passing through on Tuesday. Winds gusting 45 to 60 miles an hour and relative humidity below 15% will be widespread. Red flag warnings and wind advisories are in effect for parts of the area this afternoon and evening, including here in Dolores and Montezuma counties. Scattered to numerous rain and snow showers, mainly over the mountains, will occur Tuesday with light snow accumulations above 6,500 feet. Freezing temperatures are possible Wednesday morning. For lower valleys that have vegetation in a tender state, be careful. And joy of joys, another windy day is expected on Thursday with more rain and snow possible Friday. Locally, the NWS DCTV 5-day outlook is showing today mostly cloudy with a high near 67, windy with a south-southwest wind 20 to 25 miles an hour, increasing to 30 to 35 miles an hour in the afternoon. Winds could gust as high as 60 miles an hour. So whatever hasn't already blown into or out of your yard, once again batten down the hatches. Tonight, partly cloudy with a low around 38, windy with a south-southwest wind 25 to 30 miles an hour, decreasing to 20 to 25 after midnight. Winds could gust again as high as 60 miles an hour. Then Tuesday, partly sunny with a high near just 48 degrees, breezy with a south-southwest wind 20 to 25 miles an hour, becoming northwest in the afternoon. Winds could gust as high as 35 miles an hour. Tuesday night, mostly clear with a low around 23. It's going to be blustery with a northwest wind 15 to 20 miles an hour, becoming north-northeast 5 to 10 miles an hour after midnight. Then Wednesday, it clears up sunny with a high near 56, northeast winds becoming 5 to 10 miles an hour, and then southwest in the afternoon. Wednesday night, mostly clear with a low around 34. Thursday, mostly sunny with a high near 62 and breezy. Thursday night, mostly cloudy with a low around 33 and breezy. What's with this breezy deal? We know it is the spring winds, but okay, look for it to be breezy Thursday before the next chance of precipitation on Friday, with a chance of snow showers before 1 p.m., then a chance of rain showers. Some thunder is also possible. Partly sunny with a high near 51 degrees. Friday night, a slight chance of rain and snow showers before 11 p.m., and then a slight chance of rain showers between 11 p.m. and midnight, mostly cloudy with a low around 30. And looking into the weekend, starts on Saturday with sunny and a high near 59 degrees. Saturday night, mostly clear with a low around 34, and maybe those breezy winds will go away, giving us a little break. We'll know more later on in the week. And now, back to the news.
According to the Cortez Journal, with a photo by Emily Rice with the Journal, has the Dolores School District opted out of the Colorado High School Activities Association? That question was largely unanswered during a sometimes heated and confusing public discussion at Dolores School District's RE4A's board meeting on Thursday. But in a telephone interview with the Journal on Friday, Bert Borgman, Assistant Commissioner at CHSAA, explained that the district is still a member of CHSAA, the governing body for high school athletics in Colorado. According to Borgman, only the football program has been classified under an independent status. That request, he said, was made last fall by Athletic Director Chris Trussler. On Thursday night, the board unanimously accepted Trussler's resignation, and Assistant Athletic Director Kari Milligan volunteered to head up a committee of 7 to 9 people to manage Dolores athletics. Independent status is governed by a binding 2-year contract, Borgman said. Under the contract, the district is in charge of its own schedule, and the football team cannot play in postseason tournaments. The Dolores football program is still a member of CHSAA and is bound by its safety regulations, he said. He added that CHSAA has not received complaints of injuries from the Dolores district.
Reported in the Durango Herald, photos various AP credits, State Treasurer Walker Stapleton and businessman Greg Lopez, a former mayor of Parker, won spots in Colorado's Republican gubernatorial primary Saturday at the GOP State Assembly. Stapleton won top line on the primary ballot with 44% of the delegate vote, just 4 days after asking state officials to reject nominating petitions that had already qualified him for the primary, saying after he had discovered signatures had been gathered fraudulently. "I'm a common-sense Colorado conservative who wants to be your next governor," Stapleton said to the thousands of Republicans inside the Coors Event Center at the University of Colorado campus. Lopez received 33% of the vote and will join Stapleton and any candidate who qualified by petition in the June 26 primary. Candidates in both Republican and Democratic assemblies needed at least 30% of the vote to qualify for the ballot at either of the assemblies. Attorney General Cynthia Kaufman failed to advance to the primary, receiving just 5% of the vote. The Colorado Democratic Party's state assembly has given former state treasurer Kerry Kennedy the top line on its June 26 primary ballot. Kennedy of Denver received 61.65% of the vote. U.S. Representative Jared Polis of Boulder also made the ballot with 32.85%. Kennedy and Polis could be joined on the ballot by Lieutenant Governor Donna Lynn, who is waiting for the results of petitions she submitted to the Secretary of State last month. Former State Senator Michael Johnston of Denver has already been certified for the ballot through petitions he submitted. This should be an interesting race for Colorado governor, full of options, first in the primary June 26, where the unaffiliated voters will have an opportunity to weigh in with a vote on either choosing the Democratic ticket or the Republican, but not both. Then the actual election will be decided for our next governor in November.
According to the Cortez Journal, with a photo by Tom Krishner with the AP File, a new law in Colorado will require truck drivers to complete a class on how to recognize and prevent human trafficking. Governor John Hickenlooper signed the measure into law Thursday. The Denver Post reports the bill had broad bipartisan support. It will require people seeking a new commercial driver's license to complete the half-hour training at no extra cost. Police and advocacy groups say they hope more trained eyes on the road will help stop sex and labor trafficking. The trucking industry supported the bill. The law goes into effect this summer.
From the Journal, photo from the Journal, Mesa Verde National Park's Artist in Residence program kicks off with Cortez artist Rosie Carter, whose residency runs April 15th through the 28th. Public programs are planned at Mesa Verde and a Menka School of the West workshop, according to a news release from Mesa Verde spokeswoman Christy Brown. During her residency, Carter plans to create an illustrated map telling the story of Mesa Verde's geographic and cultural locations. The free park program, Hike and Sketch, will be held April 27th from 1 to 3 p.m. Meet at the Chapin Mesa Archaeological Museum lobby, and then Carter will lead visitors on a hike to view some of the places that inspired her map. Participants will discuss process and work on sketches along the way. Materials will be provided. The Cortez program Narrative Mapmaking, Telling a Visual Story, will be held April 28th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Meet at Carter's studio at Home and Range, 2409 East Empire Street in Cortez. Inspired by historic maps that incorporate technical accuracy and imaginative illustration, students will explore the process of telling a story through narrative maps. Carter will guide students through the creative process of developing a story idea and using mixed media and telling that story in map form. There's a fee for this workshop. Register online through the Menka School of the West at schoolofthewest.org. A materials fee will be collected at the class. Carter, a self-taught artist, grew up in a family of artists and entrepreneurs. She works primarily in pen and ink over colorful painted washes, and she draws inspiration from being outside and taking in the natural surroundings. Mesa Verde National Park's Artist in Residence program provides professional artists the opportunity to become part of a long-established tradition of artists creating art in the national parks. The program is managed for the park by the nonprofit Mesa Verde Museum Association. Learn more about all of this at nps.gov and mesaverde.org.
According to the Durango Herald, with a photo from the AP File, here's some sobering news. A large international study says adults should average no more than one alcoholic drink per day, and that means drinking guidelines in many countries may be far too loose. The study found that people who down more than 7 drinks a week can expect to die sooner than those who drink less. What this is saying is, if you're really concerned about your longevity, don't have more than a drink a day, said David Jernigan, a Johns Hopkins University alcohol researcher who was not involved in the study. While the U.S. government currently recommends no more than 7 drinks a week for women, the recommendations for men is 14 drinks. That's because earlier studies found women are hit by the effects of alcohol at lower amounts than men, for several reasons, including women weigh less than men on average, and blood alcohol concentrations rise faster. The new study estimates that 40-year-old men who drink as much as the current U.S. guidelines allow can expect to live 1 to 2 years less than men who have no more than 7 drinks per week. Canada and Sweden have guidelines similar to those in the U.S. set by the Department of Agriculture. Some countries have much higher ceilings. Spain and Romania set the upper limit for men at the equivalent of 20 drinks each week, for example. British guidelines were like the U.S. standards until 2 years ago when UK health officials brought the recommendation for men down to the level for women.
Today's High Canyon Country happenings. In Dove Creek, coming up Friday, April 20th, save the date. Join the State Line Bar and Grill at their first Cajun boil of the year. They say it'll be the same as last year, so delicious. Crawfish, shrimp, sausage, crab, corn, and potatoes, all for $26.99. Also in the bar, enjoy Bradley Sitton playing some amazing live music. Regular menu is also available. The special food starts at 5 p.m. The band starts at 6 p.m. and will go until 9 p.m. Then Saturday, April 21st, head over to the Wild Brewing Collective in Cortez. They say come on down for a butt-shaking, foot-stomping good time. National award-winning Hurricane Jake and his one-man band will be knocking the lights out. This is a show you don't want to miss. It runs from 7 to 9 p.m. All of the happenings are posted on our DCTV News at Noon Facebook page, along with the YouTube replays, weather, and local stories and original posts. To share your event or information, contact us by email, dcbnnews@gmail.com, or call the station 970-677-4119, and we'll be sure to get your news on the air.
Thanks for tuning in. News at Noon airs at noon Monday through Thursday and then is rebroadcast at 3 and 6 p.m. on each of those days. The weekday news shows are then replayed throughout the weekend as well.
And be sure to check us out on social media. The Facebook page is DCTV News at Noon. Please like us there and share it with a friend.
For Kendra Cook with DCTV and the News at Noon program out of Dove Creek, USA, I'm Kelsey Kiesling. Thanks for watching.